Me too. So I'm ready, I think, to just get into this match because this, I think, could be potentially the first upset of the day.
All right, we got the Garchomp versus Lucario. And now, Chef, what is your opinion right now looking at this matchup from what we're going to see between Rokso and Auramaster?
Both of these characters are very flexible. I don't know if either side really considers it favorable or too much of a disadvantage either way, but I do know for a fact that Rokso has a ton of experience against a lot of the strong Tri-State Lucario players, so that's definitely going to be a big favorable advantage going into this matchup. However, with the flexibility of both these characters and the fact that Auramaster, without a doubt, has a ton of experience, I would say, too, this is a pretty big toss-up.
Yeah, you already see things starting out pretty strong right here.
Yeah, an unfortunate mistake from Rokso, an execution error. It's a bit of a rare thing. So for anybody out there who isn't as familiar with Garchomp, one of the highest execution characters in the entire game. Very, very difficult to play at such a high level. And even when you do see a player who's been playing this character for so long at such a high level, they do tend to drop things every once in a while. And that is just a bit of a tough way to start it off. But it's a pretty high HP character, so has the opportunity to make a few mistakes while still doing a ton of damage itself, as you can see right here.
Oh, yeah, you see it right now. He's got him trapped against the wall. Auramaster has to do something quick right here, but Rokso, he's not letting him loose. Gets the cross-up, though. Auramaster now putting himself right back into the driver's seat, and he does have that burst meter that he's going to pull the trigger on right now. Notices that Rokso's playing extremely patient here, holding up that shield, and now trying to find the perfect opportunity, but this has now allowed Rokso to get the cross-up and reverse the situation right back onto Auramaster.
Yeah, but that synergy buff from Jirachi means that you're going to be taking that much less damage. And, oh, actually going to go under. This might be a punish from Rokso, a little bit too far. And the punish from the Bone Rush. Very, very specific spacing to make all of that happen. Most characters wouldn't be able to punish the pizza cutter in the air from that far away, but Lucario has that privilege.
Having that Bone Rush actually really allowed Auramaster to take that first round. And now Rokso, though, he saw like he was able to kind of get into Auramaster's mind rent-free right now, and he's still tacking on a lot of that damage that you made mention of earlier that Garchomp could really apply. Oh, I like that cancel right there, now closing in that gap immediately, and I love the patient play that we're seeing from Auramaster too. He's not trying to be too overly aggressive, but Rokso right now, he has not even taken an inch of damage. Instead, he's still holding onto that burst, and as I said, that commentator's curse. Auramaster is finally putting himself into that driver's seat, but can he keep up some of that momentum?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I think this might be enough, or it's going to be very close. Yeah, just barely enough.
Yeah.
And for Auramaster, you could tell by the way he used his support in that round, he knew that he was playing from the back foot. He was trying to build as much support as possible, not saving onto it, not holding onto support at all for a potential comeback. And he did manage to build pretty much full burst going into this next round, which is going to be huge, especially with Jirachi. Lucario is one of the strongest burst characters in the entire game, but Rokso is going to try to do as much damage as possible before he gets the opportunity to start up that first game, and he's doing a pretty good job of it so far.
Yeah, I really like the way that Rokso's playing this too right now, being able to kind of drift back, but Auramaster being able to get that follow-up right there, going to call in the Ninetales to utilize that Will-O-Wisp and being able to try to tack on some of that extra pressure, but Auramaster was ready for it. He managed to shield it on time, and now he's going to be able to utilize a lot of that damage that he could build up for himself. He still has Jirachi at the ready to make sure that his attack power is going to be able to deal a lot more of that damage, especially since he has that synergy burst at the ready.
Yeah, and actually the fact that we saw Rokso use Ninetales so early is a little bit worrying. He might not have it back in time if there is a burst coming out from Auramaster, which is going to put him into a really risky situation. However, both players, okay, I was about to say, both players going without spending their burst at all. Rokso finally realizing he has to use it on defense. Auramaster's going to hold on to his a little bit longer, it looks like, just try to wait out this Garchomp burst, but this is, he went for a reset. He went for a reset that didn't work out. He actually could have confirmed into his own burst attack, didn't go for it. Went for a risk. It didn't pay off. Auramaster with the read, winning without having to spend his burst.
Yeah, now he's going to be able to have this burst. Actually, no, instead right here, Auramaster actually being able to utilize that and make some of those adaptations going into this match. I mean, he was doing a really good job overall at making some of the adaptation, but he saw he didn't even need to utilize that at the very end. Instead, he went for that read and he was able to close it out, kind of making a statement too here mentally. So Auramaster basically telling Rokso, you know what, I don't even need to utilize my burst meter. Even though I had to rush you here, I knew exactly what you were going to go for.
Ooh, a dropped combo, but it started off with a really good read from Rokso, and he's going to get another good opportunity. As you can see, Garchomp, one of the other characters, similar to Darkrai that we saw in the last game, that can do so much damage to you in a single phase, especially if he tries to keep you there intentionally. It's not really Rokso's goal right now, but regardless, he's going to be able to pull off just so much damage. And right now, Auramaster is going to be in a tough situation to try to make this comeback. Having this corner positioning is good, but still going to be easier said than done. I think the main thing he wants to do is, I was going to say build back some synergy, but this is already actually a start.
And there's something to know here too. Garchomp, you know, being able to tack on a lot of that damage also has him have a lot of a bigger profile. He's more prone to getting hit, especially right there. And now trying to push it right, and he manages to catch Auramaster off to the side, and he takes that first round just narrowly.
Yeah, that was a really weird way to close that out. I'm not sure if Auramaster just didn't see it or if he was still recovering from throwing the Aura Sphere or what, but regardless, a weird choice and a weird way to go down. However, Auramaster did manage to build full synergy, didn't use it in the last game, so now he's got a very, very strong burst available. Rokso getting pretty close to his, though. Oh, and using the Ninetales in the corner. This is such a difficult situation to get out of. Actually, misfaces it maybe just a little bit so that he ends up landing in it, has to block the entire thing. It's not going to be able to get that pretty much free command grab situation.
And now he does have Auramaster off to the side right here, who does have that burst that he may want to utilize defensively now that Rokso is stacking on a lot of that damage, and pressure does come in from above, switches out the phase right here, and now is going to be able to close in that gap, swap it right back. Auramaster though on the roofs, and I like how Rokso, he's still holding on to that burst. He wants to play a lot more passively right here, especially since he has the lead for the first round. He doesn't even need to pull the trigger on it, and now closes this second game out, kind of retaliating right back over to what we had seen from Auramaster in the first game.
Yeah, and that was a huge risk Auramaster took there. It's always really sad to see somebody go down with full synergy gauge, but he really wanted to save it for a potential third round. He said, if I can make it back without having to spend my burst, then the third round of this could go completely my way, and it was a huge risk. It did not pay off, but still, it's a respectable one. I definitely don't think he just went down without realizing that he had burst. That would be too much of a rookie mistake for somebody this far in, but yep, we're tied up, and now it's going to be an advantage here for Rokso overall, just having this corner, getting a ton of damage, resetting at the field.
And now you can already see Auramaster. Yeah, Auramaster actually catching Rokso right there, and now trying to reverse the situation back in his favor. I like how defensively he's playing, does go in for the counter, but Rokso immediately retaliating right back, and still tacking on so much of this damage against Auramaster. Not sure if he can recover right here. If he just managed to close in some of that gap, Rokso knows, though, he is going to be able to drift back and wait for Auramaster, and you can see that chip damage that we're seeing coming in from Rokso.
Yeah, playing a really zoning-based field phase. It's a pretty interesting way to play it. Not one that you usually see from Garchomp, but oh, he's got a great spot right here. This is going to be, okay, one read I was going to say away. I think that's going to be enough. And yeah, that Auramaster burst was used without getting a single hit. It got 0 mileage, and now Rokso has the chance to have his own burst without Auramaster having his in the second round. Things are not looking good as far as that meter management goes, and that's really the story of this whole game. It's just their meter management.
Yeah, that's why you saw Auramaster right there utilize Jirachi from the get-go, so that way he can restore some of that synergy gaze at the same time. And, you know, it temporarily also increases his attack, but, you know, it doesn't matter if he could close in that gap. That Rokso's been able to kind of even things out against Auramaster. He's been making it difficult, especially in that field phase, and does call in the Ninetales to stop Auramaster short, and it does so successfully. Knows how Auramaster wanted to play a lot more defensively right there, holding onto the shield, and Rokso is going to get away with it, as well as taking a chunk of damage away from Auramaster, who now has that burst meter at the ready.
Yeah, but again, you know, he's really going to want to save it for if he wins one more round. And yeah, he's not going to go down with that same, I would say, call out that he did last time. It was a big risk and it didn't pay off. And he said, no, never again. So he's going to get the first attack on the wall. It should be pretty scaled, but still a lot of damage.
Yeah, overall, you will be able to have Jirachi coming up, right? Rather, he just managed to utilize Jirachi coming up now, and with Auramaster taking a lot of that chunk damage here, you saw that he wanted to do the wake up and try to go for the anti-air on Rokso, but I like the drift back and patient from Rokso, and he's still holding on to that burst tier 2. He knew he didn't need to use it right here, and he takes this game.
Yeah, so far it really just has come down to over and over who spends their burst more wisely, who can hold on to it the longest. But that's really the sign of two players who are just that good, right? Because you know that they're going to be going back and forth as far as damage, as far as normal hits, but really the advantage of having that burst that we saw from that Burnside video earlier is just going to be gigantic. So now Rokso just needs to win one more game. Oh, and great counterattack right there. I mean, he counterattacked in the face of a command grab that would have been a ton of damage if it hadn't been canceled.
You saw right here, too, the way that Auramaster is now trying to make some of that adaptation right here. Rokso answering right back with a counter of his own, and now going to be able to try to take a chunk of damage here. See the burst meter coming in close, though, for Auramaster very soon with Jirachi to help him out, but can he even survive that long here with Rokso being able to attack on a lot of that extra pressure in the duel phase?
Ooh, grabs a little bit too early. He was a little bit too plus off of that. That's unfortunate. Now he's going to be paying the heaviest price for it. Although we're going to see the unblockable setup here. You can't really get out of it. The best you can do is either take the hit and get walled or just take the command grab, which is going to be a lot more damage.
Yeah.
And wow, Rokso going up to match point, just setting up everything perfectly.
Yeah, having the Miss Magnus right there kind of sealed the deal here with Rokso taking that round over Auramaster. This is his match point right now. If he takes this round, he'd be going on through the winner's bracket. If Auramaster doesn't have a plan up his sleeve now, instead he does have that burst and the Jirachi to help utilize it, at least try to clutch out this round and stop Rokso's momentum. At the same time, you could see, after that double shield that we had seen and the patience from both of these players, Rokso's still respecting Auramaster immensely, especially after the damage output we had seen from Auramaster in that first game with the burst meter.
Oh, and jumps over the 2Y with the instant jump attack. That leads to so much damage. He could, okay, the burst is really smart here. Auramaster knew that Rokso could close out that game just even within that single phase, and he does not want to give him a chance to do that. The Jirachi, of course, is also going to be helping with this defense buff. As you can see, that combo that normally does so much damage did almost nothing. He's going to make him block in field, gets another opening, the wall in field, a very rare conversion, but look at this combo! That did not look like a field skates combo to me. That was beautiful, and it wasted so much time of Auramaster's burst, but the burst attack is going to land, and this is the first chance to start evening things up. Synergy buff and rage, this is going to be a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, Auramaster found that window of opportunity and he took full advantage of it right there, especially since he was on the ropes with Rokso trying to talk on a lot of that pressure before Auramaster could utilize that very final burst meter that he had left. And now Rokso's going to answer right back himself, and he catches him off guard, and that's going to close it out for Rokso.
Yeah, that was a scary situation once it started to become a comeback, but overall, the fact that that was so late in Lucario's burst when he did manage to land that burst attack meant that he really wasn't going to be getting all that much afterwards, and he still had a long way to go, especially with Rokso having a burst of his own, so well fought.